What's going on, my Sabroskis? This is Anthony, or Adoptionism, and I figured I'd switch up the intro because I always say broski, like anytime that I'm like with my friends or whatever, and so they're like, hey dude, why don't you just go ahead and just like say something like use that in your introduction. So I figured a way, and Sabroskis fit pretty awesome. But anyway, on to the point of this video. You guys will see this is just a gameplay of me doing the daily mission today, which I believe is a regicide on a 240 light. I'm just bullshitting with the Hawk Moon, which brings me down to 296, but usually I can be 298. But anyway, that's not the point. Point of this video is how yesterday, today's Sunday, yesterday on Saturday, I almost got scammed. Well, this guy attempted to scam me. Now, I'm not gonna say that I almost got scammed because I already figured this dude out, and yeah, so and I even had my girlfriend and my buddy Skojek in on the conversation because I have my phone on speaker so they could hear it. And so this is how it goes. Now, mind you, also anything that I say in here, I'm not racist whatsoever, but we all know that when it comes to stereotypes and some racial jokes or whatever, it is entertaining. Okay, all comedians do it, all people do it all the time. But anyway, I have friends and family and a lot of very close friends and acquaintances that are like black, white, Mexican, Asian, doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters to me when it comes to building a friendship. Now, when it comes to somebody who's trying to pretty much steal from me, yeah, I don't give a shit. I will say anything I want to this guy. So, yeah, here's how it goes. So he calls me, and mind you, he has a very thick Middle Eastern, like Hindu-ish accent, and he says, Hello, may I please speak to Anthony, which, that's my name, and I'm like, which is public information, so I was like, yeah, sure, this is him, what's up? He's like, well, I'm calling to inform you that you've been approved for a grant that you applied for. And I was like, oh, okay, and some of you guys know that I have been in college, or taking college classes, so I was like, alright, cool, and I did apply for a couple grants, so I don't know if maybe this could be one of the ones. Now, within the next minute, this guy completely sets off almost every red flag possible when it comes to talking about grants. Now, for those of you who aren't in the U.S., usually federal grant money is money that is given to you by the state, or pretty much by the government, to pay for like tuition, books, possible housing if you're like college campus or whatever, living out on your own type of thing. And that's money that you normally do not have to pay back. You don't even have to pay them to like even like get some of it. Like you don't have to pay like here's a finder's fee, like that type of shit. You don't have to do any of that. But they do usually like try and clarify information with you, like your social security number, your account information, stuff like that, like your bank account information and whatnot. Now this guy, oh my god, this guy, yeah, I may have fallen for it if this guy knew how to do his job a hell of a lot better, but he just failed. So he continues to say that I've been approved for this loan, or for this grant. He's like, oh yeah, that's money that you don't have to pay back, which, okay, I know that. And he says, all I have to do is register on the website. He doesn't say what website. He just says on the website, or he says, I'm gonna need you to register on our government secure website, and you'll have to pay this one-time fee of like, it was like $2.97 or something like that, like $2.97 for an activation fee. And I'm like, right there, I'm like, federal grants, you don't even have to do any of that. There's not even a website that you have to register for. So this is already starting to sound sketchy. Like, mind you, this is like in the first like 30 seconds to a minute of the phone call. So this guy's already sucking. And so he presumes to tell me that he's just continuing about how I'm allotted this money or whatever, but I have to like register with the website. And so I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I said that, I'm like, all right, and like I'm keeping my cool, and I was like, all right, so well, what website is it? Right here, like easily fucking rock hard red flag right here. He's like, oh, it's our government secure website. Doesn't tell me what website it is. And then I was like, oh, okay, all right. He's like, I'll email you the link, and I was like, again, this guy's taking the cake right now. So then he ends up telling me that I mean, obviously on top of emailing it to me, I have to pay this activation fee. So I mean, right there, You can't tell me what, because I told him, I was like, oh, well, I'll go to it right now. And he's like, oh, it's on our government. Just I'll email you. So I asked him, I was like, oh, well, what grant is it? Because there are grants for several different things. You could get like like on various different amounts of money or whatever just for being left-handed, which I am left-handed. There's ones for being blue eyes, which I have blue eyes, whatever. There's ones that you can get for being so tall. There's ones that you can get for being a certain age or of a certain like age group or whatever. And so I asked him, I was like, oh, well, which grant is it? He's all like, oh, it's a grant that you don't have to pay for. Just register at our government-free website or our government-secured website. And I'm like, dude. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, bro, you are fucking up so bad. So right here, like, I'm like, at this point, I mean, earlier I had my doubts, but like at this point, I'm like, dude, this guy's blowing so much smoke up my ass right now. So then I'm also asking him, I'm like, all right, well, when did I apply for it? He's like, oh, it was a couple months back. And I was like, well, can you at least tell me the date? He's like, oh, I don't have access to that information. Okay, guys. For those of you who aren't familiar with the United States federal government, when it comes to any type of amount of any kind of money, even if it was like $10, they still have to tell you when, because for the sake for them, so they don't lose their job, they have to keep record of when this money was applied for. Like, oh, hey, this person applied here for this amount of money. Okay, and then it goes through all this processing throughout the offices and the paperwork and the books and stuff like that. So the fact that this guy couldn't even tell me when, he says that, oh, I don't have access to that information. So I'm thinking, that's bullshit. Partially believable, but mostly bullshit. So then I go to ask him, I'm like, all right. Like, so he keeps asking me, he's like, so how do you want to go about this? And I was like, bro, you done fucked up now. Like, instant facepalm. I'm like grinning so hard just at the sheer stupidity of this guy. And mind you, he's calling me on a 301 area code number, which I think 301 is Virginia, or it's Massachusetts, one of those, or West Virginia or Massachusetts. Can't remember. So he's calling me from an American number, which I know you can mask your phone number. It's not that hard. You just plug it into your computer, and you have like a program or a website service that does it, whatever. So I'm like, all right, this dude is some Hindu motherfucker that can't speak clear English, calling me from an American phone line, talking to me about a federal grant. Yeah, no, they never have people like that. I'm sorry. I've had grants before when I first went to college, like a couple years back, and never had that problem. No matter like the 20 different people I had to talk to, never had somebody like that. So this guy's really fucking up. So right then and there, I'm like, all right, dude, all right. Like I straight up, this is me. What I'm saying to him, I was like, all right, dude, this is some bullshit. It's like I'm sorry. I was like, dude, you're full of shit. Like, this is straight bullshit. And then he's like, like, this is where he starts to, like, change his tone, and he starts to get serious, and he starts to get mad, right? So I'm just sitting here like, oh, my God. And he's like, excuse me? I was like, all right, first of all, in the United States government, when it comes to federal grants, not loans, I'm sorry. When it comes to federal grants, you don't even have to pay a fucking processing fee. I don't have to pay... or I don't have to register to a random website that you still refuse to tell me what the website is. Like, you could send me the exact link in an email, but you can still tell me what the website is itself as a whole. Like, for instance, if I tell you guys, like, youtube.com. Okay, that's YouTube. That's a generalized link. Now, a specific link would be youtube.com/user/channel or whatever, Adoptionism. That would take you straight to my channel. That is specific. That's what he would have emailed me, right? That's what I would have thought. But then so I'm sitting here and telling him, I was like, dude, you're trying to tell me that you have to email me a link to a government-secured website, so I register on that just so I can pay to have grant money that you still won't even tell me when or what that grant is for. I'm like, dude, you are sucking so bad at your job right now. And he's like, like, this is where he's, like, speaking so fast. And honestly, this is where I started to, like, sound a little racist. And he was, like, starting to sound all Hindu on me and shit, like, super fast. So all I hear is, and, like, and plus it sounds like there's, like, a party going on in the background. Like, I hear, like, hundreds of people or something just talking in the background. You don't even hear a single phone beep. You don't hear a tone or whatever to make it sound like he was in a call center. You just hear a whole bunch of conversations going on in the background. That's another reason that set it off, because it's like, dude, you're not going to be sitting there chit-chatting in a loud-ass building about my federal or my, like, information like that. I'm sorry, nothing works that way. And so I'm just going off on this dude. I was like, bro, you, first of all, you can't do this, you don't do this. It doesn't even, you don't even go about it this way. And then all he's saying is how I'm wasting his time, or he's like, well, sorry, if you think I'm wasting your time, then you could hang up the phone or whatever. I was like, bro, you're not wasting my time. I was sitting there because, I mean, it was a Saturday. I'm bored. I'm lonely. Or no, I think it was actually Friday. This is when this happened. I was like, I told him, I was like, man, I'm lonely. I want some company. We can keep talking. And he's like, oh, well, you're wasting my time. I was like, dude, I'm not wasting your time, bro. You're getting paid to talk to me, so we could sit here all night if you want. And this dude is so pissed at this point. He's like, so are we going to do this or what? I was like, dude, no, I'm not retarded, bro. That's not how grants work. You're not a government employee. And I even told him, I was like, and plus, like, I even asked him, I was like, can you, like, transfer me to somebody who could speak clear English, because I really can't stand your Indonesian ass. And he's all getting pissed. I'm going to hang up on you now. And so he hangs up on me, right? And I'm just dying. And I got Skojek in a party with me. He can hear my phone because I got it on speaker. My girlfriend's on the bed behind me. She's dying. And then I'm sitting there, like, in mid reaction or whatever, while I'm trying to, like, get my thoughts together of how I just made this dude the saltiest of all salts in the sea. This dude calls me back. He calls me back, and he's like, and just for your information, I could speak fluently 5 different languages, and and like, while he's going off, I start talking over him. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, well, obviously you have to speak English. I was like, do you speak Hindu by any chance? Because, I mean, I don't know if that's an actual language or whatever. I can't remember if that's just a religion or language. Anyway, that's beside the point. I was like, oh, so, I mean, obviously you speak English. I was like, you speak Hindu, right? I mean, yeah, you got to speak Hindu. Yeah, of course you can. And then I kept saying, I was like, do you speak Spanish? And he kept talking over me. Like, he was getting mad at that, saying that. And then I was like, oh, you know what, dude? Would be really cool. Can you speak Russian? Dude, if you spoke Russian, that would be super awesome. And he's just going off. And then he just hangs up on me in the middle of it. And dude, I just lost it. So, just to point her out to you, sorry guys if this video was so long, but I mean, this story was just too damn funny. I wish I would have recorded it, like, right towards the end of the first phone call, because I thought I was going to get him, like, going still. I was going to, like, record him. But, like, by all that time, he hung up on me the first time, whatever, it sucked. But if I ever get a scam call like that, I'm definitely turning on my computer and recording that shit for you guys, because that was just priceless. And, but yeah, so just a tip for you guys, don't ever fall for any scams. If you're in the United States, I mean, I don't know how other countries work, but if you're in the United States and somebody's saying that you have to pay them money so you can get a grant, which is free money, and the only way that you can actually verify any information is through a link that he's going to email you. Okay, I've called the VA before, and I've called, like, the IRS department about certain questions that I've had about a lot of federal things. And usually they can direct you. Like, you call and be like, oh, yeah, you just go to this website, and you're going to have to, like, register here, log in here, or whatever, and, like, call this person or whatnot. And that's it. Not, like, super dodgy, can't tell you when or what the grant's for, or when you did it, or anything like that, and like, it's just please don't fall for that, guys, especially if it's from a number that, like, if you recognize the area code, and the dude sounds like he's definitely not from that area. Granted, that might seem a little racist or whatever you want to call it, but don't fall for shit like that. Please don't. So yeah, guys, until next time, this has been your boy Adopt. I hope you loved this story as much as I loved experiencing it, and I really hope I can record another one for you guys if it happens again. So until next time, my sabroskis, I will see you the fuck later.